Hey y'all, it's your girl Tasha, aka Mama Jim, aka Jim the Butterfly, and I am here with another twin flame reading for you guys. Like I said, I won't do these on a regular basis, only when I feel compelled to do one. And lately I have for about a week now, honestly, guys. And so but it's so crazy because my work schedule is so crazy right now. I don't have the time like I used to put these videos out. But this one has like been like weighing on me very heavily to put one out. And it's what I'm noticing it is so crazy is that when I do put a video out, it's always near a twin flame reading. It's usually near a new moon. So I think that's interesting. We have a new moon in Gemini tomorrow on the 25th. So, hey, I guess there's a message out here for you guys to hear, and I'm the person to come and bring it to you. So, I thank you for taking the time to listen. And I just want to say, too, also that this is my second time recording this video. The first time that I tried it, like I got 10 seconds into it, and I realized that I didn't have sound. So you guys do have 3 cards that fell out that I have not taken a look at. So that will be interesting to see. So, and let's make those 2 more cards. So let's see what's coming in for the divine masculine and for the divine feminine. No special time frame. It just is what it is. If it resonates, fine. If it doesn't, take what you can. And if the rest doesn't, then that wasn't for you. All right, guys. So let's just see what's coming in for the divine masculine. Excuse me. Okay. Those clearly, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it clearly came out when I said challenges, and that was it. Let him know. Okay. Those 2. How's she feeling about him? Okay. The general energy between them. What is the face of the and advice. Okay, so you guys have a lot of cards, and don't worry, I'm going to show you all the cards that are out for you guys. Before I turn over all of the cards, I want to take a look at the cards that just flew out literally. I wish you guys could have seen it when I did it. And I do want to say I'm using the Heart Oracle, the Psychic Tarot for the Heart by Oracle deck by John Holland. I did take out, I'm not, these cards, this deck comes with chakra cards, and I took those out, okay? So let's look at the cards that you have so far. Special messages. You have the Fine Balance card, which is the 2 of Pentacles. Similarly, excuse me, the Strengthening Bonds, which is also like a Pentacle card. That's the Ace of Pentacles. And then you have the Heal card, okay? And then the other 2 cards that came out, okay? All right. You have 3 the Sadness and Isolation card, and then you have Success and Growth. So instantly what I'm picking up from you guys, I'm sorry, y'all see me rubbing myself trying to get my shirt together. Instantly what I pick up from you guys is that there is a need for some grounding, okay? There's need for there's a need to make peace with something. Now, whether this is how you either one of you feel about yourself or how you feel about the situation, how things worked out or how things didn't work out, there's time now. It feels like it's time to gather up your losses and try to make sense of what happened in order for you to move forward. Okay. The one thing about the sadness and isolation, definitely for the twins who are in separation right now, I keep feeling like there's this pining over something, feeling as if something did not work out the way that you intended it or believed that it would have worked out. And it's like it's time to make peace with that. That's why you have the heal card here. Um, to me, I'm looking at it as like releasing the shackles. Like, and I keep hearing shackles on my feet. Remember that song? It's like it's time to release that. It's time to heal those wounds and don't allow yourselves to be continually held in bondage by it feels like it's like the disappointment, the things, limitations that it could have been. Maybe there are things that you wish you could have said but you didn't say, wish you could have done but you didn't do, or things that you did do you wish you did, that type of stuff. It's like it's time for both people to really let that go. Interesting enough, though, when I see these three cards together, they're all male cards. So maybe the masculine is going through this a little bit more so than the feminine. It's like, okay, you've been going back and forth with this pining. It's time for you to see how he's leaping forward. He's essentially dug himself a hole in the ground and has buried himself there in the fetal position. Like, that's a very vulnerable position to place yourself in. Okay. Feeling as if no one else can understand what you're feeling, what is going on in your head. He feels like he's alone. What I'm picking up, but it's like also here, I like this card, how it looks like he's erected himself out of the ground. It looks like he's looking for answers. So it's like, to me, um, the masculine is really at a point where I feel like either he's getting close to the point or he's at that point where he's making sense of what has happened and his responsibility in it, and it's time for him to move forward. Okay, because like right now you have the success and growth card. It's like what I keep picking up is, how, like, if you ever had, for those who are ever competed in anything, okay, and you practice for it and practice for it, this is like your ultimate goal, and you get to the competition and for whatever reason you lose, because, and not even because, but you knew the whole time that you were going to win. You were going to win. Maybe you never thought that you wasn't going to win, but either way, the results that you were hoping for, you didn't have. Okay, you didn't receive. And so you find yourself, it's like that person who comes in second sometimes in the Olympics. Everybody just projected that they were going to get the gold, but they actually came in and got the silver. I mean, granted, silver is still good, but it's just like Ricky Bobby. If you ain't first, you're last. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's that type of feeling that I keep feeling like this, and it's coming from the masculine very much so. Like, you know what, you didn't win, and so after that, yeah, you won a prize, but it wasn't the prize that you wanted. So you find yourself retreating, you're upset, you're licking your wounds, but then eventually you get yourself out of that dump, and then you ready to emerge again and try something different. Okay, and this time, it's like don't pass go. You're focused on winning again. That's why you have this success and growth. And the thing about the growth is that now through this you have learned some valuable information, not only about yourself but about relationships, on a deeper level for you. Okay. And for some of you, it may be for the feminines who have more of a masculine energy, because I'm picking up that too just now. It may not just solely apply to the males, or whoever has the masculine energy. And guys, within these type of relationships, it can fluctuate. One time, not one time, the feminine can have more masculine energy and vice versa. So, whoever this applies to, somebody's feeling down in the dumps about something. But whatever that is, I feel like this person is coming out of it. And I feel like as a whole, within the relationship, you guys are both reflecting that back on each other. Like you're really trying to make sense to it, make sense of it. There's no use in pining over or worrying about shoulda, coulda, woulda. It's like, okay, I'm about to get up, I'm about to get myself together, and I'm gonna try it again. And I've learned some things. I'm gonna apply what I learned. I'm gonna move forward. Okay. And this is all about strengthening the bonds. And it's interesting because you have the Ace of Pentacles here. It is really about strengthening the bonds in yourself, letting you know that you are worthy. You are deserving of the prize that you seek out to receive. Okay. All right, guys. So let's look at, oh, yes, the divine masculine. How's he feeling about this situation right now? Moving on. This is like the Eight of Cups. Again, this is moving into uncharted territory, emotional territory. Again, this is another card that, he's having to do this on his own. I feel like for some of them, maybe they were used to having someone in the past, or maybe they're with a karmic partner right now that licks their wounds for them. You understand what I'm saying? They're used to having someone that they can depend on to help them get through tough times, emotionally tough times. But at this point in time, they're realizing that you know what, they can't depend on anybody else to get them through this. This is something that they have to do for themselves. And so they're having to walk this journey alone. And it's the thing about it is, I think that scares them a little bit is because um when I see this ocean, I keep seeing, you know how the ocean, the currents go in and out. I keep seeing them. That's the reflection of their emotions, and they're preparing themselves for that. Maybe that they had always been in situations where they could pretty much have control over their emotions, but in this situation, it feels like to me that they realize that they don't really have as much control over their emotions as they thought they would. However, is as instead of before seeing it as that as a disadvantage to them, they're seeing it as an advantage, although it's still scary. Okay, that's why you have these rocks here in the background, because it's like, it's going to be rough sometimes, but at the same time they realize they have to continue to move forward and do it on their own, and it's for their own good. Okay. um let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and turn the cards over. Wow. Ooh. Yes, y'all. Oh, yes. Y'all like, what is she talking about? What is she talking about? Okay. Okay. So that's where the masculine is. He's moving forward emotionally. All right. Um, what a challenge for him on an individual basis again is the embrace card. That is the like the world card. He is at a point of graduation, a point of completion. Like I said before, he's at a point where he's needed to move forward. He is all the lessons that he needed to learn up until this point, he learned them. Okay, now it's time for him again to move forward and apply those lessons that he has learned. Okay, and embrace them with love. Okay. And again, like I said, I feel like that's going to be, for some of them, it's going to be a struggle, even though they know they need to do it. Okay. It's learning how, again, to put an ending to what you thought it was going to be and start moving towards what you want it to be. Okay. That's where he's at right now. And I feel like, as a challenge, there's still that lingering part that, you're realizing that you have to go on it alone. It feels very singular, and I feel like, again, for a lot of them is really, that's a hard pill to feel to swallow. They've never really had to do anything on their own. But the good thing is, like I said, they've learned everything that they needed to learn. It's just that they need, maybe it's a realization that they have it. They don't need anybody else. It's just like when you graduate from high school or college or whatever. Everybody's on that same journey, but everybody has a different path on the journey. But when it's time for everybody to graduate, everybody's graduating at the same time, and it's a very individual type of feeling where he's like, oh wow, I really did this on my own. Okay. I think he's having a hard time realizing the growth that he has even went through himself. I feel like he still kind of feels himself as being stagnant, but he has grown a whole lot. He just needs to embrace the growth that he has acquired during this time. Okay. Um what he wants you to know, or what he wants right now. Two cards. I have the refusing to see card, and I have the daydreams and decision cards. Um, what I'm picking up from these two cards, as far as what he wants the divine feminine to know, is that he's thinking about her. Okay, I feel like there's a lot of communication between the two of you within in 5D. I feel like he's doing a lot of daydreaming. I feel like he's picturing the life that he has, that he would want to have with you. One interesting thing that I pick up from the refusing to see card is that right now, especially for those who are not in contact, physical contact with their divine partner, their twin flame, he's really relying on what he feels and what he knows intuitively. Okay, this to me feels like with him learning how to do that, that helps him to be more grounded. He's learning how to trust what he feels as opposed to what he sees. You know, even if for some of you, I can see it both ways. I can see it as, um, like, say you guys don't, maybe you're not in, I don't want to say not in separation, but maybe you have very limited physical contact with each other. Maybe you see each other every now and then type deal. And when you guys are together, there are mixed messages that you send to each other, because I feel like there's some type of tension between the um the divine masculine and the divine feminine. But the tension that I feel is, it's not new tension. It's like current, it's residual tension over something that has happened long ago, but it's like you guys are still holding on to it. Okay, but because you're still holding on to it, you're acting when and if you're around each other, I feel like somebody's sending mixed messages, mixed signals to the other person. And so it's very confusing to the other person. One person is thinking that this other person is, they don't even give a damn about me no more, they're over me, but it's really the contrary. And so it leaves you a little confused, but I feel like he's figured that out. Maybe that's what this embrace is talking about. He's actually figured that out, and he's realizing that, you know what, not everything has to make sense to me with my two eyes. I have to go by what I feel, because even if you two still have this tension between you guys, there is still emotions there that need to be sorted out. And I feel like before, where he was trying to kind of compartmentalize those feelings and place them someplace and, not really deal with them, he realized that, you know what, they're not going to go anywhere. I need to go ahead and address them. All right, I need to allow myself to feel and work through these issues, whatever. I feel like it's going to be an emotional time for the divine masculine. I feel like there is whereas before, it's like his turn now, to start shedding some tears and being more emotional and allowing himself to be vulnerable. Now he was vulnerable when he was going through this hurt pain, this the disappointment, but I feel like this vulnerability is really allowing himself. It's him really allowing himself to feel, to bask in the feelings that he has for you. Okay, it's allowing him to trust in the feelings that he gets, instead of trying to negate them or make it out to be something else. Or, he's like, okay, you see it, his third eye is opening. Okay, a lot of the divine masculines, like I told you for a while now, in the past readings, if I remember correctly, they were starting to realize what was up. Okay, and so with that realization, they're realizing that they have to trust. They're having to trust what they pick up intuitively, and even if they don't have proof, to know that it's true, which for them may be a little difficult, because I feel like, divine masculine energy. It can be a little bit more left brained. It can be balanced, but I feel like right now, because they're trying to get back into a state of balance, they're learning how to use that right brain a little bit more, to incorporate it in with their left brain thinking. I hope you guys can follow me what I'm saying. So really depending on that, I feel like for some of them, they're really starting, if they had or are, what's not had are, sorry, I got so many things coming through. I keep seeing green, so maybe some of them are eating, like, I keep feeling like they're changing their diet, so they could be eating more green leafy vegetables. I feel like they're definitely more conscious of the things that they're putting into their bodies. I feel like they may not be eating as much, or eating lighter food, than maybe starting to cut out meat, or like heavier meats, or meats period. um Definitely, I feel like they're drinking more water. I feel like they are more, they're doing more meditating. And I do feel like for some of them, they have the ability. If they haven't had the ability, they're working on strengthening their ability to astral travel, and to learn how to lucid dream. Okay. When I see these dreams and decisions, um, they're really understanding that they have to be they have to be mindful of their thoughts during this time, because I feel like for some of them, they're starting to see how the negative thoughts that they had about themselves, how that played into the separation that you two are now in. And they don't want that to happen again. So they're realizing that they have to open themselves up, um, to a more positive reality, not just for them, but for, I feel like, not that just for them, not just for the relationship they have with you, but the relationship they have with others around. Because I feel like they're starting to see how that played in, how it feels like they just have like low self worth, or low self esteem, or feeling like they don't deserve anything. And they're starting to see how that played into different areas in their lives. And it's like, no, I can't go through that anymore. And of course, when you start to ascend, and you start to, um, your third eye starts to open, or your first eye, like I like to say, when it starts to open, um your whole perspective, your whole perception of the world, things you just start to see differently. And you're having to make peace with that. And I feel like that's what he's wanted to make peace, and he wants to be in, it almost feels like fantasy, but it's not fantasy for him, because maybe at one point in time he thought the feelings that he had for you were fantasy, but he's starting to realize now that, no, these fantasies that I have, I can actually make them into something tangible. It doesn't have to be a fantasy. I can play a part in creating my own fantasy, and it can come alive for me. Okay. And so he's really working on that right now. um Divine feminines, where you are right now. How are you feeling about the situation? You have the control card. This is like the strength card in the major arcana. So I feel like, look at this, guys. What he wants is, look at his eyes. He's looking down, and he's relying on his third eye, his first eye. She's looking down, and she's looking at her two, and she's have her two eyes peeking out. The one thing that I feel like, things have switched up for you guys. She has like this warrior, her little warrior hat on. I don't know what you call that. What is like I forgot. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And then she has this red in, and she has this heart. She has a red on. Um, I feel like she's very passionate about maintaining, feels like, boundaries. She has these feathers on, and the feathers are brown. It looks kind of brownish to me. It could be, I don't know. It looks brownish to me. So I feel like she's maintaining her control about being grounded. Okay. Um, it's like they switch. I feel like in some instances she was feeling like she was in more of a fantasy world, and now, um she's needing to see more tangible results. She's needing to see things with her own eyes. Um, I feel like this may be a little bit difficult for her because I feel like it almost feels as if she has to restrain herself in some type of way. Um, and essentially that's what it is. And maybe that's not the type of person that she's always been. You know, she's had to give all of it, or feeling like she needed to give all of it, of herself, to someone. But I feel like for her, she's starting to realize, because you guys have the detached card here. This is like the justice card. Um, you're realizing that this is like code. These two cards together for me is symbolizing the divine feminine not trying to be codependent on the divine masculine during this process. I feel like she is really wanting to reach out and to help him, offer suggestions. She wants to talk to him. She wants to tell him, like maybe she knows. I feel like maybe she may know exactly what he needs to do, because again, she has already walked this path before he has. Okay. And so maybe she's wanted to give him some tips, but at the same time, as much as she wants to do this, she realizes that she cannot do this. That's going to sabotage the energy between the two of you. That's why she's having to maintain a sense of restraint about herself. And it's a test of her own wills. Again, this is um with the solar plexus. I don't have a solar plexus card, but this yellow and this the orange in this card made me think about the solar plexus and the sacral plexus, where I feel like she's really wanting to rush in and kind of mother him a little bit, but also realizing like, no, I can't do that. I know that he has to do this on his own. They have to do this on their own right now, and it's for their own good, because this is what's coming up in her intentions. This is what she wants, and she's realizing that she has to detach from the situation. This is the justice card again. She's having to take herself out of the situation, and it's for peace. You have this dove here. It's for peace. It's for um to bring a sense of renewal, purification within the relationship, okay, within the energy of this relationship. She realizes that if she steps in too soon before he has completed his mission, and I'm looking at the clock right now, y'all, and it's 11:11. She's realizing that I can't do that. I've done so much of this work on my own. I cannot sabotage the energy around surrounding this relationship, trying to help him. I have to let him do it on his own, no matter how painful it may be for her to watch him go through this. Like I feel like my heart, like you just want to just open and pull your heart out of your chest and say, here, like just take a little piece of this and it will help you along the way. But there's this other part of her, and it's not coming from a vengeful or a spiteful um frame of mind, that it makes her feel like, well, I didn't have anybody to help me. Um, and he's going to have to learn how to get it on his own. And so, there's a struggle with that. And so, if you're struggling with not if you're struggling with wanting to reach out, and there's something that's telling you like, no, don't do that, listen to that voice, divine feminines, because especially if that voice that you hear is like that quiet little voice, like, I don't think you should do that, you know deep down inside that you shouldn't do it. You really would want to consider before you want to jump in and make contact or try to offer some type of advice of what this person, or what offer advice to the divine masculine right now, or try to be some type of comforter or nurturer to him. You know, you not stepping in right now does not mean you love him any less. Okay? This is just a time right now for him to go through this alone. There is nothing that you can do at this point to help speed this situation along other than you would actually be working against yourself if you were to step into it. That's how I'm feeling about it. Okay, that may not be for everybody's situation, but that's what I'm feeling about for right now. You know, if this situation applies to you, it's best to stand back. Okay, and I see that that is a challenge for you. You have coming together and love abound. It's these are two beautiful cards that you have. You have the Ace of Cups and the Two of Cups. It's like, again, like I said, you want these things, you want this thing to come together, but it's a struggle because you realize that, now I have to wait for him to catch up, and it may be some anxiety around this as to, well, when is he going to catch up? Like, shit, he's been taking so long. But you know what, this is when the time where you have to be able to trust in divine timing, trust in the trust in your partnership, that things will work out in the fashion that it needs to work out at the perfect time that it will work out. And that's why I feel like it's so hard right now for her to remain to stay in control, because she just want to grab him up and hug him and just tell him, like, baby, you the shit, I love you, you could do this. But then there's the other part, like, no, I don't think you're gonna do that too soon. I keep hearing like this grandmother, like a new parent. You ever seen like new parents, and they're around their grandparent or great grandmama or somebody, and they're watching the baby, and the baby's doing something, and the new parent wants to go rush over to the baby and the grandma, and they're just like, you don't need to do it. Let me see stand back for a minute, watch and see what they're going to do right at first. Like the baby just fell, but they really, how babies sometimes fall. I have to tell you what I see, y'all. You know how the babies, like, they just fall and it shocks them more than it hurts them. Maybe they fall right on the butt, and the mom wants to rush over. Oh my God, my little baby! Because of course, because the baby's shocked and they cry. That's their first response, is to cry. Um, but then the grandma's like, nope, don't run over there every time. Don't do that. Wait, let them soothe themselves. I guess that's what I'm feeling. And that's that nurturing, like I said, that nurturing energy from the feminine. You just want to run over there and help him, because he does. Look at him. He just out there on the beach by himself, just walking. He looks like he's deep in thought. So, you want to be able to have your set of footprints right here beside him to help him along the way. But again, this is a singular journey. Okay. That and simultaneously, I just heard this too. This is a a singular journey for you, because I feel like for some of you, maybe this is the first time that you are allowing yourself not to immediately jump into somebody's or rush into somebody's aid. And it feels awkward to you too, just as much as it feels awkward to him that he has to move forward and do this on his own. It may feel awkward to you that you have to stand back and let somebody else do this on their own, someone that you love, no less. This is the person, this is the other half of your soul. And you're having to stand back. But this is, again, you guys are mirrors. So, if there's a singular journey that he's having to go on, there's a singular journey that you have to go on. Okay. And just be able to make peace with, even though you guys may be seeming like that you're moving in two directions, you're actually moving together at the same direction. All right. General energy, balance. Can't get no better than that. This is the Temperance card. Um, Again, with the Two of Pentacles that fell out right here, you're still trying to, that's the general energy right now. There's needing, like I told you, there's a sense of needing to ground yourselves when you're one and the same. You're one and the same right now. Some of you may be starting to focus on more heart chakra meditations, more heart chakra affirmations, love affirmations, trying to put yourself into a more I guess loving position, or I keep like you're saying more. I guess it's like the affirmations. You're saying you're putting that love out into the universe to yourself, but out there to your twin, but it's being returned to you. I hope you guys follow me. I'm just going all over the place, but it's you're having to with the female. She's learning just like the male. She's learning that in her love for herself equates for her love for her twin. And if she loves her twin the way that she loves herself, she has to step back just a little bit. Okay? So they can pretty much recalibrate and get that, to be able to sift through that energy, that residual energy that I was talking about. She has to stand back, okay, and let him do his thing. He realizes he has to move forward and let her do his thing, you know? So it's like you guys are just, it's kind of like an experiment time right now. You're trying to try different things to help you along the way. But again, the goal is still the same. In this, the goal is, um, I feel like reunion, the goal is to get back to a place where you love yourselves individually. You have an unconditional love for yourself. And once you can move to that, then you can have more of an unconditional love for your twin. Challenges right now, choosing your battles. Like I said, what is important to you right now, immediately, individually or collectively as a couple. What are the things that you're looking at in front of you that seem much bigger than what they are? What are you willing to fight for? How strongly do you feel about this relationship? And I feel like for some of you, it's a you go back and forth. Like one day you believe in it every day, and the next day you're just like, I don't know what the hell I'm thinking about. It's you're having to get to that point. It's just like there's a lot of static that's going on. It's telling you it's time for you to choose which side that you're going to be on. Are you going to choose on the side of you guys, or not gonna say you, because what you do for yourself is going to help with the relationship. Are you going to choose success, or are you going to choose fear and failure? Do you really believe in this? I feel like some of your beliefs are being questioned right now because things are not moving. Maybe it's not moving as fast as you would like it to, but because it's not, it's making you question, okay, is this really real? Am I tripping? Do I need to move forward? I feel like for some of you, I'm gonna just be straight up for you, some of you have other people that are around you right now that you feel like you still have to tie up some other ends to. And you're feeling like you need to go do that first, before you can handle anything else with your twin. Maybe your twin has other people. I feel like with this choose your battle thing, that this energetically, I feel like you guys still have some soul ties that are attached to you and or your twin, that you really having to you really need to tie up those loose ends with some of those people. Get some of your um what's the word I'm looking for? Um, shoot, I can't remember what I was going to say. Um, the situation that I feel, I'm sorry, y'all. The situation that I feel is like, although your twin is who you really want, I feel like you guys have other people, like timekeepers, people that you could pass the time with. That I feel like you may have some love for them or whatever, but maybe these are people from the past that you're dealing with. This one right here looks like John Travolta. I'm just saying. Um, you have some people from your past that maybe you need to tie up some loose ends with. Maybe they have some people from their past that they need to tie up loose ends with. Maybe you have demands of other people, because I feel like these people are looking at this one person like, okay, so what are you going to do? Like you have responsibilities, outside responsibilities right now. And so take this time, be productive, work on those outside things, tie those loose ends up, cut those cords to those outside people. Again, why continue to strain? And and it may not even be for some of you, you have active relationships with any of these other people, but maybe you still have the energetic entanglement to these other people. Get this stuff off. Maybe you're picking up messages from other people. All of this relates into the energy, as blockages that you may be having with your twin. Okay. Um, let me see what else I'm picking up here. What is important to you? That's the biggest thing. Who, and not even what, but who. Maybe it's who. Who is important to you? Are you important to you? If you're important to yourself, what do you need to do to maintain that level of importance? How are you selling yourself short? It just feels like with this card, something needs to be eliminated. How about that? And I didn't even look at that last card. Release your advice. Release. This is the Hangman. I feel like this is just releasing the expectations of what this is going to be, how it's going to happen, and surrender. This is a card about surrendering, letting go, and letting God handle the situation, turning it on to divine timing. Because, like I said, besides for some of you who have this energetic entanglement, I feel like you really have done majority of the work. Again, this is just you trying to sift through the debris. Maybe with the choosing your battles is with that residual debris that you have going on. Maybe it's you choosing to let all that shit go. Forgive that person. Forgive your twin. Forgive yourself, because it's hard to try to move into the next phase of your relationship if you're still allowing yourself to be hurt by the things that were in the past. The past is the past. And if this is a relationship about unconditional love, it has to be unconditional love, not only for them, but for yourself. And so you have to be able to forgive yourself. You have to be able to forgive them in order to move to the next level. So maybe that's what this choose your battles is talking about too. I'm picking up a couple of messages for this card, so you just take whatever applies for you. Um, what is more important here? Progression or stagnation? If you have things that are pulling on you, that are keeping you stagnant, if that includes other people, lack of forgiveness, still feeling hurt from the past, there may be some resentment, some blame. If that is still present, you have to choose how big are you going to continue to make this issue for you. If your ultimate goal is going to be getting back in union with yourself, so you can get in union with your twin. Okay. It's time to open your heart up, open your chest, make yourself more vulnerable, and let it go. I'm hearing allow yourself to be used. And I feel like for some of you, what I'm picking up too, male or female, over the next couple of months, some of you may be getting into volunteer work. I feel like you're trying, it's like it's either I feel like volunteer work, or you working with feel like you're working with people in some type of capacity where you're able to be a helper or be of assistance to other people. But it's like you start off, it's a good outlet for you because it helps to take your mind off of the energy of this relationship. I feel like, again, you're allowing yourself to be used. You're taking off your covering. It's like you're shedding a skin. You're being reborn. That's interesting. I've never seen it like that before. It's like you're being reborn. I see him like just being able to rip that off, start with some new skin, and you're gonna try over again. You're wiping yourself clean. You're making yourself clean. Like I told you, it's a repurification process right now. But in order for you to do that, you have to. It's just like when you cleaning something. It's dirty, and you clean, 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 and now it's back. You scrub, 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 scrub. I'm sorry, and now it's back clean again. You know, you're having to make yourself clean again, make yourself whole again, and trust that this time around is it. It's the right time to do it. You're doing it for the right purposes. You're not doing it solely for you guys to get together to be in union or to, you're not doing it. You're doing it because you realize that you need to get back to yourself. And this is, this is a for the both of you, because this is in the middle. The advice for both of you. You're learning how to move into a new phase of your life and to look at yourself differently. Not move into a new phase of your life and still hold on to that old energy and refuse to see how much you've changed. Embrace the change that you have undergone over these past, I'm feeling for some of you, it could have been the past 6 months, the past 24 months has been really intense for you. But now you're here. And so you have to be ready with your warrior hat on, like, the divine feminine, to maintain to maintain the changes that you have gone through thus far. Okay. Um, I like the fact that for the two, for the divine masculine and the divine feminine, you have eights. That's for me. That's a very these are very karmic lessons that you guys are going through right now. We all know that twin flames have karmic lessons that they go through, but these are very karmic lessons for you because it's placing you both in positions where you never had to do that before. So there's major growth going on between the two of you, um, on separately, but at the same time. You're both asking to move in a direction on your own. You're having to, I guess, guide yourself or allow yourself to be guided. Maybe that's more of a way to say it. You're allowing yourself to be guided. That's what this release card is talking about. You're trusting that you're doing the right thing and you're not questioning anymore because you realize that, where you are right now, it has to be something, the state of mind has to be better than where you're at. So you're willing to try anything right now. Um, this is a cool reading. I just keep feeling like this is a major time for surrender for the divine masculines and the divine feminines to um, start letting go of all of that old crud that you guys have been carrying with you. We carry things so much until we forget that we're carrying it. We just adjust our lives around it and don't even try to figure out what is it that we can eliminate out of our lives to make the load that we carry a little less. And so I feel like that's what you guys are doing right now, is that you're getting rid of the things that makes your load a little easier to carry in order for you to travel a little further and a little faster. All right. So I love you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please comment below if you like. Please share and subscribe to my channel. And I love you again. I'll see you next time. Bye.